Yuvakavi Balaga for organizing this state level webinar on a very important topic and also issue, role of youths in nation building. So this is a really wonderful initiative on the part of the Yuvakavi Balaga. I thank Avinash and friends for giving me a wonderful opportunity to be a speaker for this webinar. Since it is not face to face, as it is everything is impersonal, I just decided to be a little brief and also not to be too very bookish. So I have divided the topic into 5 parts. First part, I am going to tell you who is this youth, because many of us don't have a proper meaning of youth. So I'm going to tell you who is this youth, whom can be called as youth. So that will be the first part of my lecture. And second part, I'm going to tell you what is this nation building. So nation building is what comes under nation building. I'm going to tell a few things about it. Then third, I'm going to tell you all why youths are given so much of importance and why youths are having a special role to play as far as the nation building is concerned. Then in the fourth part, I'm going to tell you what actually is the role of the youth in nation building. Youths have a role in nation building. So there are many issues over there. So I will just explain you that. And then I will be giving my concluding remarks. And this will be followed by what is known as a question answer session or interactive session, whatever you may be calling, through chat box, you can have the questions and you can ask questions. I am in a position to answer those questions. So this is the plan of the webinar. It goes like this. So there are 5 parts as far as the webinar is concerned. Now to start with, without wasting much time, I'm going to tell you, so who is this youth? What is this meaning of the youth? So youth many a times is mistaken. A person in India, you may be knowing, even he may be 50 years old, he still calls himself a youth. So that he is not a youth actually. So there is a definition of youth. So there is a meaning of youth given by different bodies. So first of all, the dictionary says the period between childhood and adult age is youth. Secondly, the early part of existence, growth or development is youth. Youth can also be understood as appearance, freshness, vigor, spirit. It can also mean a particular mindset or attitude. So some say there is no age bar for being youthful. It can be attitude of mind. So in that way, youth has different meanings. Officially, who is a youth? Who can be regarded as youth officially? So individuals in the age group of 14 to 21 is regarded as a youth. So this is the official meaning definition of what is known as a youth. 14 to 21 years is known as youth. So taking into consideration the definition given by the UNO, United Nations organizations. So UNO has defined the youth in its documents in this way. It has said, youth are those persons between the age of 15 to 24. 15 to 24. So it has taken the stand anybody who is above 15 years of age and below 24 years of age can be regarded as a youth. So all UN documents or all UN statistics pertain to youth means this. Anybody above 15 years of age and below 24 years of age is known as a youth. But the same UN documents also makes another distinction. What is the distinction? The UN document says, so all those who are between the age of 13 and 19, they are known as the teenagers. So 13 years, 19 years, they are teenagers. And 18 to 32 years. So anybody who is above 18 years and below 32 years, they are known as young adults. They are known as young adults. That way, so there is no clarity. One group says anybody above 14, below 21 is a youth. UN document says above 15, below 24 are known as youth. And again, the same UN document says that all those above 13, below 19 are teenagers, and above 18, below 32 are young adults. At the same time, the United Nations 1979 UN Convention of Rights of Child says those under the age of 18 are regarded as children. So there itself, there was a lot of what is known as confusion. But if you take a look about the different countries of the world, including India, who are the youths actually? A cursory look around the different countries of the world pertaining to definition of youth, the definition says, the understanding is anybody who is above 18 years of age and below 35 years of age is a youth. So this is settled. So no confusion. So anybody who is above 18 years of age and who is below 35 years of age can be regarded as youth. It need not be 24. You can go up to 35. So some countries have fixed it to 32. But in our country, most of the organizations, they consider anybody within 35 years of age as a youth. So that is for you. The definition of youth as far as our country is concerned, anybody above 18 years of age and below 35 years of age can be regarded as a youth. He is a youth. He can be called as a youth. Now coming to India, in India, right now, the youth population, because according to the census, it says 65% of the population are below 35 years of age. So the youth population of India right now is 65% of the total population of the country. That's very encouraging. And India is also regarded as a young nation because the number of youth constitutes 65% of the population. So this is something very good for the country. And we can call ourselves and we can also take prideness in telling that we are a country of youngsters. So that is for you. Who is a youth? Meaning of youth. Now moving on to the second part of my lecture, nation building. So what is this nation building? So nation building is a normative concept. It means different things to different people. It is not that easy to give exact meaning of nation building. So there are multiple meanings. So it's a big challenge to actually give the meaning of what is the nation building. So what I've done is I have gone through the different definitions of nation building, and I've classified nation building into two categories. Now there are two sets of definitions. One set of definitions is nation building in a very general sense, and another one in a what is known as a very technical and a specific sense. So first I'll tell you what nation building is in a specific sense. Nation building in a very specific sense, and it is a very serious activity actually, and a lot of things are involved. In a specific sense, nation building means checking out programs to those countries which are having poor economies, which are dysfunctional, which are failed, in order to give assistance in the development of government infrastructure, civil society, dispute resolution mechanisms, as well as financial assistance in order to increase stability. Thus, nation building specifically means something or somebody is doing or building something intentionally. So from this point of view, you can say that whenever a country is in a very bad shape, so it is declared as a failed state. It is considered as a country which is dysfunctional. So under those circumstances, that country being given assistance, maybe from the World Bank or from any other aid giving agency, to see that they set their house in order and everything comes out good. So that is one meaning of what is known as this nation building. So according to another observation made by a great scholar by name James Dobbins, he defines nation building as the use of armed force actually. You may not accept this, but that is what nation building also according to one perception. So according to James Dobbins, so nation building is the use of armed force in the aftermath of a conflict to underpin an enduring transition to democracy. He presents 7 cases, namely Germany, Japan, Somalia, Haiti, Bosnia, Kosovo, and Afghanistan to highlight how American military power was used in the aftermath of conflict to underpin democratization. So if you go by what James Dobbin says, we can say national building actually means a process which actually starts after a conflict is over. So there may be some conflict, some internal conflict, or some external conflict. After the conflict is over, the armed forces will interfere. The armed forces will set in. So that armed force will do all the reconstruction, and the main reconstruction is they will do the effort of bringing in some kind of a democratic form of government. There will be democratization process. So democratization process done by the armed forces after a conflict is over qualifies to be called as nation building, according to James Dobbins. Then the same scholar says nation building building is associated with what is known as six activities. It says nation building means state building, two democratization, three modernization, four political development, five post-conflict reconstruction, six peace building. So this is one interpretation of what is known as nation building. Sounds to be very technical and also very specific. And another study conducted by the Harvard Project on American Indian Economic Development. So this is a document of the Kennedy School of Government of what is known as of Harvard, America. It has this to say about what is known as nation building. So according to Harvard Project on American Indian Economic Development, nation building means equipping First Nations. First Nation is a term coined by Martin Lipset. Martin Lipset has called USA as the first nation. So according to this particular document, the institutional foundations necessary to increase their capacity to effectively assert self-governing powers on behalf of their own economic, social, and cultural objectives is what is known as nation building. So first nation means a country which has been formed newly. So American, what is the United States of America is a combination of 13 colonies. So that is the example of first nation according to what is Martin Lipset. So whenever this first nation make an effort to govern themselves, when they take care of their economic interest, social interest, and cultural interest, and when they try to manage themselves on their own, so that is nation building according to this Harvard project on American and Indian economic development. So the same document says nation building exercise involves four things. First of all, it stands for genuine self-rule. So First Nations making decisions about resource allocation, project funding, and development strategy is what is known as a genuine self-rule. Then second, creating effective governing institutions, which means non-politicized dispute resolution mechanism and getting rid of corruption. Third, cultural match. Cultural match means giving importance to all cultures, all languages, all religions, and all cultural, what is known as the interest within a nation is known as a cultural match. Fourth one, it is known as a strategic orientation. So strategic orientation means is a kind of long-term planning. A country has to plan. So planning is also kind of nation building. So this definition given by Harvard project is very technical. So it goes to the main theme of nation building, and actually in real terms it tells what nation building is all about. So all this goes to show that nation building is an evolutionary process. Nation building is an evolutionary process rather than a revolutionary process. It takes a long time and is a social process that cannot be jump started from outside. All countries of the world have gone some kind of a nation building process. So United States of America, Italy, Germany, France, and of late China has also undergone this national building process. And as they have undergone from this national building process, they have seen all the developments. They are now can be regarded as what is developed. So no country can progress. So unless and until there is a national building exercise. So this goes to show that national building is something very important, and all countries of the world gives importance to what is a national building exercise. Now coming to the simple definition of what is a national building. So what is nation building from the Indian perspective? What does it mean? What does it stand for? So that is what we have in our minds. What is nation building then? So nation building refers to the process of constructing or structuring a national identity using the power of the state. It can involve the use of propaganda or major infrastructure development to foster social harmony and economic growth. So this is the Webster's dictionary meaning of what is known as national building. Then another definition is like this: the development of behaviors, values, language, institutions, and physical structures that elucidate history and culture, concretize and protect the present, and ensure the future identity and independence of a nation. So that is another simple definition of what is known as nation building. And the last definition of nation building is like this, a very simple definition. I am just cutting short of this definition. I'll read this very slowly. You'll get the correct meaning of nation building once you hear or listen to this definition. Nation building is a process whereby a society of people with diverse origins, history, language, culture, and religions come together within the boundaries of a sovereign state with a unified constitutional and legal dispensation, a national education system, an integrated national economy, shared symbols and values, and as equals working towards the eradicating the divisions and injustice of the past to foster unity and promote a country wide conscious sense of being proud citizen of that nation, committed to the continent and open to the world. So like this, the list of definition goes on. So it is too very academic. So I will stop with this definition because it may bore you because you come from different backgrounds. Ultimately, I would like to tell you what is nation building. Nation building, in my own words, implies the people of a nation putting their heads together, working for the development and progress of the nation, and building the different institutions, which is very vital and important for them. When they're involved in this process, there may be a lot of differences. There may be regional differences, religious differences, linguistic differences, political differences amongst the people themselves. So, ignoring all this and making an honest effort to work for the development and progress of the country or a nation, in very simplest of terms, is known as nation building. I think this settles the issue, and I think there is no problem amongst you in getting the meaning of this national development. Okay, so that way, when we take our country, we are in the process of nation building because we got independence some 72 years ago, and we are a new nation actually. It was only in 1947 we got our independence. So 1950 became a republic, and we inherited poverty and all kinds of problems when we were under the rule of the British. And India did not have proper infrastructure, so India did not have a proper understanding. All these problems are there. So we have succeeded in overcoming most of these problems, and most of the times in the past has been used to build the nation. There's still a long way to go. So that is for you. The second part of my lecture, I have just given you the meaning definition of what is known as nation building. Okay. So the first part is clear. I have given you the meaning of the youth. Who is a youth? I have defined very clearly. Anybody who is above 18, below 35 is a youth. And secondly, I have said what actually is this nation building. So that is the third part. That's the second part. Now moving to the third part, which interests you a lot. Now the question comes. Why is specific mention about the youth always? Why are youths a special lot? So why are they given so much of importance? Why are the youths given so much of importance? Why a topic like role of youth in nation building? So why can't it be something else? Why so much importance to youth? So this question has to be answered. So every country, not only India, every country in the world gives importance to youth. So youth power is a very important power for the nation. Youths have an important role to play as far as the country's progress is concerned. So what is so special about the youths? So I have identified some 10 or 12 characters of youth, which makes the youth very special. Number one, youths are a very creative lot. So you guys, most of your youths here, you are having a lot of creativity. Okay, you are able to come out with something new. You are able to identify some kind of a fault or mistake in something. You are not going to do something what was done by the old generation. You try to be new. So you are a creative lot. So that is your specialty. So for that, the country expects a lot from you. You are a creative lot. Secondly, so all of you think differently. So youth think differently. You're very rational and you're full of new ideas. So if you talk to any youth, he will talk differently. You'll not talk like an old man. So you'll talk like a person with full of ideas and full of liberal thinking and all that. So that is your specialty because you don't think like others. You think entirely different and you have full of new ideas. Okay, you are rational. You think very liberally. So that is your second special quality. Third, you are very, very idealistic. Youths are very, very idealistic. you stand for certain values, you stand for certain principles. Okay, if you come across any youth, they are not corrupt actually. So they have a lot of respect for the country. They have a lot of regard for the leader, and we call it as youthful idealism. So youthful idealism you can find in youths. So that may not be found in other people who are 50 or 60 or 70 years old. So that is your special trait. So that is the reason a lot of mention is made about the youths. Fourth one, you all have very clean and unperverted mind. Your minds are not poisoned. So youths have a very clean mind. You have unperverted mind. So you can be trusted. Okay, you can be given some responsibility and you will complete the responsibility because your mind is fresh, mind is clean. You are not perverted. Then fifthly, you guys, youths are having a sacrificing nature. You sacrifice. You are willing to sacrifice. So many of the youths, they are ready to forego something. You can be easily molded. It is very easily to mold a youth, and you are really sacrificing in nature. So there may be some exception. I'm not telling every youth is like that, because nobody is perfect in that way. But by and large, youths are having a sacrificing nature. Then the next trait, you are energetic and enthusiastic. You're full of energy. Okay, you are willing to do any kind of work. You are ready to work for long hours. You are ready to take the risk because you are energetic and you are very enthusiastic. You are very keen to know what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. So you go to the bottom of the issue. That enthusiasm is there amongst the youth. So that is another special quality amongst all the youths in India and also all over the world. And next one, very importantly, youths have the ability to learn fast and adapt to the environment more than the other people, more than the other people. Okay, so you have the ability to learn fast. Whether it is learning computer, whether it's learning driving, or whether it is flying an airplane, whatever it may be. You have the adaptability to learn fast, and you adapt to the environment very fast. So that is your special trait, and that quality we can't find in the people belong to other age groups. The next, you are fearless. You are very daring. So youths are fearless. Youths are very daring. So they don't have the tendency to play safe. People who are old, they always try to play safe. They don't know to risk. Okay, they don't want to be seen in the forefront of any movement or any struggle. They always remain behind the scene. But youths are not like that. Youths are always fearless. You are raring to go. You are very daring. So that is the quality which is there in the youth, which can't be found in others. Next, you are the future hopes of the country because you are young and energetic. You have age on your side. When a youth is compared to that a person who is about 60, 70 years old, you have spent only about 25 years of your age. Okay, you can live in this world for another 45 years, 50 years, or 60 years, whatever it may be. But others are not like that. Others are past the prime. But you are all in your prime. You are all in your prime. So because of that, you are trusted and responsibilities are put on your shoulders. So that way I can say that youth of a country determine the future of a nation. You have an important role to play in nation building. Okay, so these are all the reasons. I've given you some 11 reasons why you people get a lot of importance by the government, by the society, by the people, because what all qualities I submitted before you, what all traits I just mentioned, that can be found only in a youth and not in anybody. And you matter a lot for the country. So the future of the country is dependent on you. The progress of the country is depending on you because others are not in the positions like you are in. So you have that trait. So the country expects a lot from you. So that is the third important thing I want to highlight in my lecture. I have just submitted before you. All this you may be knowing. So all this you are experiencing yourself. All this you are experiencing yourself. But all this may not be there in the people who belong to other age groups. So that makes youth a special law. That is the reason youths are respected and youths are even feared. Youths are feared by the government. Even knowing that, whenever there is a small problem anywhere, schools and colleges are closed. Okay. So in Karnataka, students union elections have been banned. The reason is student union election was very successful. Student union election gave many leaders actually. Okay. Many promising leaders like Ashok, the present minister, D.K. Shivakumar, then our Anant Kumar, okay, then Hari Prasad and Prakash Karat. So many of them, they're all from the student union backgrounds. Okay, so student union was very popular during 1970s and 80s. So later on, the government thought that if you don't nip the students in the bud, not the students in the bud, then the students may become a force in the future. In that way, an effort was made to scuttle down all these student and election student bodies all over India. This is the reason of this, and you are a power. Now, coming to the fourth part of my presentation. So, what is the role of the youth in nation building? This is the main thing. I am almost reaching the last phase of my presentation, but it's a very important phase of my presentation. It matters a lot for you. Role of the youth. The youth play a great role in nation building. The youth are expected to play an important role in the nation building. It has the power to help a country to move towards progress. The youth has the power to help the country to move towards progress. It is also responsible for bringing social reforms within the country. So a lot depends on you. A lot depends on you, because a lot of things has to happen for you, and you are also responsible for taking the country forward. So new challenges, new problems you can face, not others. So you have an important role to play. Now the question is, this is actually a very crucial phase of my presentation. So what is the youth expected to do? How can the youth play an important role in nation building? So I would like to tell you two things here. First of all, youth can play an important role in nation building by being a part of the government. So if you clear your civil service examination, or if you succeed in getting into the government, or if you can get into the armed forces, so you can play a direct role in building the nation. But how many people can get into the government? That is $1 million question, because everybody can't get into the government. Everybody can't become a bureaucrat. Okay, but there is no need for any youth to get disappointed. So without being a part of the government, or even without being a part of the armed forces, still you can contribute for nation building. Okay, so all those people above 18 years of age, 35 years, or below 35 years of age, you can still contribute. So I feel youth needs to equip to play a proactive role in the nation building exercise. Okay, you can contribute a lot from your side for building up of the nation. There are certain expectations from your side, and you can contribute to the national building if you follow these things, if you practice these things in your life. So what are they? Number one, the youths must have respect and regard for the history, language, culture, land, resources of the nation. One simple sentence I would like to say: you must be knowledgeable. You must be knowledgeable about the history, language, culture, resources, etc. And you must give top priority to education. Okay, if you're not having a simple basic awareness about your own history, if you're not having regard for your own language, if you're not having what is known as regard for your own culture, then who is going to save your language? Who is going to save your culture? Your language and culture will just vanish. So here I should not be mistaken. I should not be mistaken that I'm propagating Kannada or Telugu or Malayalam, nothing like that. So you have a language, you have to respect that language. And there is something called your mother tongue, and there's something called a state language, and there's something called an official language. Okay, so now you may be dilemma. You are telling you have to uphold language, which language? So I personally advise you, you just don't forget your mother tongue. You may speak a particular Tulu language or Kodwa language or Konkan language at home. Speak that. And second, you have to respect your state language. State language in Karnataka is Kannada. Uphold that, follow that, learn that. Then they say official language Hindi. National language, they say, is not a national language, it's an official language. Hindi is the third language. So Hindi is spoken by a large majority of the people, and all the central government correspondence takes place through the Hindi language. So I personally suggest it's nothing wrong if you learn Hindi. You can learn Hindi. And lastly, you must be well versed in English. English is a window to the world. Now, if you have basic knowledge of English, you can go to any part of the world. You are very secure. That way, in my opinion, it is advisable to all the students of Karnataka to learn three languages, namely your state language, that is the Kannada language, then English, then Hindi. At the same time, mother tongue, nobody needs to teach you that. You can retain it. So in that way, you can safeguard your language, your culture. Culture also, your culture has a very broad meaning. Okay, so all those festivals, so all those traditions, is a part of your culture. So don't forget it. You just respect it and follow it. Don't speak ill of it. So by this, you are going to save all these things. These are all very much required for a nation to prosper and progress. Then secondly, all youths must be sensitive and alert about the problems, issues, challenges before the nation. It can be economic problems, political problems, social problems, etc. You must be aware of it. Okay, if you're not aware, then there is no occasion for you to build the nation. So right now we must understand what is the economic scenario of the country, what are the political problems the country is facing, what are the international problems the country is facing, so what are the social problems that the country is facing. You must be aware of all these things. So once you are aware of all these things, you can play an important role in providing solutions to these problems and also fighting these problems. So that is your important responsibility. That's what I feel. You must be sensitive and alert about the problems, issues which are around you. Thirdly, you must be law abiding. You must follow the laws yourself. You must respect the law. Okay, so you may be frustrated with the legal system. You may not have good opinion about the government. If you don't have good opinion of the government, political party and all that, you should not bother much about it. You must be loyal to your conscience. You must be good for yourself. So my advice to all the youths is, as far as possible, follow the law, respect the law. So I see many of the youngsters having a helmet in their hand. The helmet has to be in the head actually when you ride your bike or motorcycle. But most of you don't do that. You keep that in your hand. That's very bad actually. Now we are told to wear mask actually because we are living in very bad times. Okay, the government is telling us to maintain safe distance, wear masks, use sanitizers, no social gathering, and all that. So that is a law right now. You have to follow it. So if you follow the law, that's a great service you are doing to the nation, and you are contributing a big way for what is known as a national development. And thirdly, you must, fourthly, youths must be having basic awareness about rights and duties. You must know what your rights are. So Indian Constitution is being taught in all the colleges for the first year students. But I see most of the students from the non-humanities background not taking this Indian Constitution seriously. You take it for granted. So that is wrong actually. So if you want to contribute something for the nation, you must know your rights. You must know your duties. You must know the basic law. Okay, nobody can know every details of the Constitution, not required. At least know your rights. At least know your duties. At least know the basic things about the Constitution. So you can go a long way in building the nation if you are having awareness about your rights and duties. Then fifth one, you must have the interest and willingness to take up social and national responsibility. Whenever you expect to do something socially, or whenever you are told to contribute your services for a national cause, maybe during the times of flood, or maybe during the times of some earthquake and all that, you can chip in. You can just go assist. So first you have to take care of your health and also your life, and then if you are having confidence in yourself, you can take up this responsibility to do something for the nation. So that is another advice I would like to give from my side, and also it is a advice which tells you how you can contribute for the nation building. Then sixth one, you respect for the dignity of labor. You must have dignity of labor. So dignity of labor is not there in your country. You must stop making comments about the job of others. Okay, that is a very serious problem amongst youths. Okay, so many youths, don't tell the actual work they're doing. They keep their family in dark. They keep their friends in dark because that is a society we're living in. So if you just tell you're doing this job and making livelihood of it, somebody makes fun of it. I personally feel this is very criminal. This is very bad. In Western countries, not like that. Whether you're a sweeper or a driver or whatever job you do, you enjoy dignity of labor. So you're treated alike. But in our country, this is very glaring. I see this is a very criminal act on part of the people to make fun about the job of others, about the work of others. You must stop this. You must cultivate the habit of dignity of labor. The next one, seventh advice, you must cultivate the habit of offering suggestions to the government. Okay, as I said earlier, youths are known for the creativity. You are known for your new ideas. So today it is possible for all youngsters to communicate your ideas, communicate your suggestions to the government of Karnataka, government of India, and also to all governments. Okay, so today we are having many social media platforms. You can give your suggestions. And now most of the ministries have the what is known as the official emails. So ministers, then officials can be contacted. So if you have a very wonderful suggestion or an opinion to offer to the government, you should not fall back. You must communicate to the officers and tell what your suggestion is that can be implemented. It can be a very, very effective suggestion from your side. There's no need for you to underestimate yourself about your knowledge power or your suggestion. Okay. So that can also go a long way in what is building up the nation or national building. Then eighth advice, you must have awareness about the country's people, geography, states, districts, rivers, leaders, etc. So most of the youngsters lack adequate knowledge. I come across people telling, I have heard them telling that the river Kaveri takes its birth in Talakadu, they say. Talakadu, Talakaveri, they are two different places. The Talakaveri is in Kodugu district. So river Kaveri takes its birth in Kodugu district. Okay, many people or many youngsters are not aware of that. Okay, and many people always have no proper understanding about our own people, especially in Bangalore and Karnataka side people. All these people belong to the Northeast. They are treated very badly. Okay, they are called by some nicknames, and many people forget the fact they also belong to India. They are also Indian citizens. Okay, you must know there is a big region called the Northeast, very progressive region as far as the India is concerned. They are all tribes there. They belong to different tribes. They don't look like the mainland people. They have a different appearance, but they're Indians. But many of us forget the fact they're Indians. We ill-treat them. We make fun of them. That's a very bad thing to happen. You must know the people. You must know the geography. You must know the districts. You must know the rivers. You must know the leaders. Okay, so this is very, very essential. I come across the youths not having adequate awareness about all these things. So this is not the way of building a nation. So all these things will go a long way in making a country good. So awareness must be there in all these things. The next, a very important one, as I said, everybody can't be a part of the government. Everybody can't become a bureaucrat. But how to build the nation, how to contribute your might to the nation, I advise all of you, all the youths, to associate yourselves in NGOs. There are many non-governmental organizations, there are civil society groups, there are nature clubs, there are environmental clubs, there are sports clubs, literary association. I think your body is also a literary association. Like that, if you are very keen in learning Kannada and also to become a poet, a writer in Kannada, you can be a member of that is BM Sri Pratishtana is there. Then Kannada Sahitya Parishad is there. So many institutions are. You can join there and you can become a member of the literary association. So there is something called Walkers Club, environmental groups. So all these bodies will enable you to get some good exposure. You'll be interacting with people who are much older in age, and we'll come across people from different walks of life. It's a good exposure for all of you. And by being member of all these NGOs and civil society groups, you can contribute a lot for the nation building. So we know even without being a part of the government, you can do wonderful things by getting associated with these NGOs, literary groups, cultural bodies, etc. Okay. The next is you must take active interest in politics. So many youngsters have lost faith in the political system. You say there is a lot of corruption and our politicians are corrupt, our bureaucrats are corrupt. Yes, they are corrupt, they are bad. But what's the way out? You can't continue these things to happen for years and years. You have to draw a line somewhere. You must take the initiative. So corruption is there. But what is the way out? You have to stop corruption. You have to fight corruption. So you have to get involved in fighting these acts of corruption. So that way you have to take active interest in politics. So how can you take active interest in politics? You subscribe to one or the other ideology. Okay, which party you support, which party you want to vote, that is your choice. Nobody can tell you, you must vote for this party or you must not vote for that party. That is your choice. You're a democracy, you're a liberal democracy. You stand for some ideology, you subscribe to some ideology, and don't forget to vote in the elections. You go to the polling booth, cast your vote. You may say all candidates are bad. So amongst all the candidates, you find out which candidate is not that bad. You can give one vote to that particular candidate. Okay, now we have also the nota. Okay, if you are not happy with any of the candidates, you can use your nota option. That can also be done. But don't remain politically passive. So play active role in politics, get involved in politics. Okay, so that is another advice I can give from my side for all the youths to contribute towards what is the nation building. And the 11th advice, today we are living the social media age. Actually, social media has become very dominant today. Okay, this print media and electronic media never feared the government actually. Okay, this is a funny observation I'm making before you. The print media, electronic media never feared the government. They never feared the police. They were fearless actually. But you'll be surprised to know from me, the print media and also the electronic media, television channels today are fearing the social media. Social media has become very strong today. Okay, you can make any comment against any television channel. You can pass on the comments. You're more powerful than the television channels today. So that way, my advice to all of you is you just use social media for a good purpose. So social media is like a double-edged sword. Okay, you can what is known as spread good information, and you can spread fake information, bad information. So my advice is use social media in a very proper manner. So how to use social media in a very proper manner? You may come across many civic problems. That's what I did 2 days back. There was a severe water leakage happening in my street. Nobody bothered about it. I complained in the BWS office also, nothing happened. What I did was I used technology. I made a short video of it, 1 minute video. I made it when water was gushing out. And after making that video, I sent that video to the junior engineer of the BWSSB. Next day, all were there. Next day, all the officials were there. They rectified it. So like that, when you come across a heap of garbage lying somewhere in the city, when you see a water leakage, when you see our street lights going even after 10 o'clock in the morning, you take a picture of that. You make a video of that and send to the concerned department, send it to the concerned official. Immediately they will swing into action. That way, social media is a double-edged sword. Make best use of it. So don't do anything which goes against the interest of the nation. Use it very positively. So all is there in your hands because you can handle social media better than we people. You're all belong to the old generation. You're not tech savvy, but you are all. In that way, you can contribute a lot using social media for the building of the nation. And lastly, I would like to tell you, all of you maintain good mental and physical health. So mental health, physical health is very, very important. So take your religion seriously. Okay, go to church, go to temple, go to mosque, spend some time there. Okay, if you are spiritually strong, mentally, physically also, you'll become strong. Okay, so don't ignore religion. Don't forget your gods. I may sound a little orthodox here, but still that gives you strength. That gives you strength. So in that way, you cultivate the habit of keeping yourself physical fit and strong. So do some exercises. If you have money with you, go to gym. Okay, if you don't have money, you can go to some ground. You can go to some park. So do some walking, do some jogging. So do some free exercise. Keep yourself fit. Okay, if you are physically fit and if you are physically strong, and all that advantages will follow. Okay, so if you want to join the armed forces, you see that you are physically fit. Okay, you take advice from the officers or you can take advice from the people in the know of things and prepare yourself for getting into the armed forces. Okay, so many people, many youngsters fail to clear the physical efficiency test. Okay, it's not that they're physically very bad. They don't know what actually is conducted. So if you want to get into the armed forces, I am going to tell you there are certain minimum physical exercise, physical obstacles which I would complete. You have to run a 100 meters race in 50 seconds, 15 seconds. You have to run 1,500 meters in 15 minutes. You have to do a long jump, do a long jump of about 3 meters, and you have to do high jump of 1 meter, and you have to throw a shot put for about 4 meters. They're all simple. Okay, if you can practice and if you can keep yourself fit, you can succeed in getting to the armed forces. So in that way, without being a part of the government, without being a direct person involved in the government, still youths can play a very, very important role in building the nation, is what I feel. So in that way, I just advise all of you to take yourself seriously, get yourself involved in all these activities, what all I have suggested. So take my advice seriously. Definitely, you can contribute a lot for the nation and you can build the nation. And finally, I would like to sign off by making this observation. There is a general tendency of making use or misusing of the youth power by certain vested interests. So certain people use youth associations, youth clubs. So they are found using the youths for the selfish ends. You should not fall prey to this kind of exploitation. You should retaliate and you should protest whenever you are taken for a ride by the vested interest. So you are a power. You are the hopes of the country. So don't allow anybody to misuse your power, misuse your number. You must be very assertive. You must be very strong. And I also notice many times the contributions made by the youths is not even acknowledged, is not even announced. Somebody makes a name. Actually, you are really worked hard for that. So that should not happen. So when you contribute something, when you sacrifice a lot for a cause, you must get that recognition. You must get that honor. Okay? When you come across somebody taking you for a ride or somebody misusing his power, you should never keep quiet. You must raise your voice. If you do that, you're doing a great service for the nation. So I'm going to conclude by just highlighting 3 instances by showing how youth power can play an important role in the present day scenario. Number one, we are all not working for the last 3-4 months. Our college management asked us to conduct some webinars. This is a webinar which is going on. So many of the senior teachers did not have any experience with regard to conduct of the webinar. You'll not believe me. One of our student who is in 3rd BA EPS, okay, Neeraj Tom Savio, many Josephites may be knowing him. He has helped about 7 departments of the college. All departments in humanities, political science, economics, sociology, history, industrial relations, all these departments are able to organize webinars, okay, with the help of the student. So Neeraj Tom Savio. So I said, youth is known for the creativity and skill. So Neeraj Tom has proved that, and he has shown to all of us that youth power is hidden power, and he helped us in conducting this webinar. I am acknowledging it proudly. I am very happy that one of our students helped us in conducting the webinar. So that is the first example I would like to give you all, how youth power, how youth skill matters a lot. How can youth can make changes. Then second example, or the second instance, we are in the COVID times. The Bangalore City Police recently gave a call for all those youngsters to become the police wardens. Police wardens. So police warden means you are going to assist the city police in their duties. Okay, a small message, a social media message from the Commissioner of Bangalore, 10,000 youths responded. 10,000 youths have responded. They all said we are willing to become the police wardens. Okay, there's some confusion. Some youngsters thought they are asked for a police job and all that. Okay, it was clarified. Okay, some 5,000 students or people, youngsters might have just given the names thinking that is a job of police, but not the other 5,000 in my opinion. Okay, so 5,000 youngsters have volunteered, okay, to become the police wardens with a short duration of time. So that is another big example I would like to give you to highlight how youth can be very useful for the nation building. And lastly, I am an active member of my community association, Bangalore Koda Samaj. Bangalore Koda Samaj went without any activity for the last 3-4 months because of this all this ban and all that. So we have a body that's known as the Koda Samaj Youth Council, KYC. So the president of KYC happened to be one Suraj Somaya. So he organized a cultural competition, okay, within the community using the social media platform. So the activity was like this. It was like a chain actually. So it will the chain will come to a person. You have to say something about your what is known as your language or your custom, tradition, your district, what it may be, but it might be associated with the Kodwa culture or Kodwa tradition. It was a grand success. He was able to have this extend this chain to 3,000 people. Okay, in a matter of 2 months, so much data has come. So a person who is 100 years old has also contributed. A child of 5 years also has contributed. He has given chance to everybody, and he has succeeded in creating a database, okay, in getting information from all kinds of people regarding the Kodwa customs and traditions, and they are going to do something very interesting about the database. So that is again youth power, creativity. So these are the examples I would like to give you at the fag end of my presentation to highlight how youth can make a lot of difference and youth can contribute for nation building. You are all the hopes of our country. Okay, the country is moving through the very bad times. Okay, there is a lot of corruption and all those things are there, but you need not be worried about it. Okay, you can be a own. You can build a new India. Okay, you can build a new system altogether. All is in your hands. All the best. I close my presentation here. Now the session is open for discussion.
So,
you can
thank
ask
you,
some
sir.
questions. Welcome.
So, thank you for your presentation. It was really elaborate, and hope
Okay.
most of us here are youth, and we have got some suggestions from you, and we will be applying it for a betterment of the nation. So, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Now, we have some questions both in Kannada and English. I shall be reading it out, so
Okay,
you
sir.
can answer as brief as possible.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So, the first question is in Kannada.
Hmm.
ಯುವಕರು ತನ್ನ ವಿದ್ಯಾಭ್ಯಾಸದ ಅವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಹೊರಬಹುದೇ ಹೇಗೆ?
ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ವೇಳೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮದು 9 ಗಂಟೆಯಿಂದ 4 ಗಂಟೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ 4 ಗಂಟೆಯಿಂದ ನೀವು ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗ್ತೀರಾ. 4 ಗಂಟೆಯಿಂದ ಫ್ರೀ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಅನೇಕ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳು ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೈಂಟ್ ಜೋಸೆಫ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಇದೆ, NSS ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಮತ್ತೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ಲಬ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಕನ್ನಡ ಸಂಘ ಇದೆ, ಹಿಂದಿ ಪರಿಷತ್ ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ತರದಾದಂತ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಸಮಾಜ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ಲೇಬಹುದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಹಂಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ NGOs ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅನೇಕ ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ತುಂಬಾ ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ತುಂಬಾ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನೀವು ಆ ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಸೇರ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಗಳೇನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಆ ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಅದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪಬ್ಲಿಸಿಟಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಅವರು ಬೆಳಕಿಗೆ ಬಾರ್ದಾನೆ ಅವ್ರು ಎಲೆಮರೆ ಕಾಯಾಗಿ ಅವರ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಮೈಗೂಡಿಸ್ಕೋಬಹುದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಭಾಗಿಯಾಗಬಹುದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಇದು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ಉತ್ತಮ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡುವಲ್ಲಿ ಯುವ ಜನತೆಯ ಮುಂದಿರುವ ಸವಾಲುಗಳು ಯಾವುವು ಮತ್ತು ಪರಿಹಾರ ಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳಿಸಿ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದಿರಾ ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಪೀಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಬ್ರೀಫ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ ಸರ್.
ಇನ್ನೇನಿಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶ ಯಾವ್ದಲ್ಲೂ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಉತ್ತಮ ಲೀಡರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇದೆ. ನರೇಂದ್ರ ಮೋದಿ ಅವರು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ಲೀಡರ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ನೀವು ತಲೆ ಆಡಿಸಿ ನೋಡೋದಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರ ರಾಜಕೀಯನೇ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಲೀಡರ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಗುಂಪು ಅವನು ಕೆಳಗಿಳಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ. ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಂಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಂಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರ ಇದೆ. ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡೀಪ್ ರೂಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಫೈಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆನೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಫೈಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಯಶಸ್ವಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ, ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ನೇಷನ್. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ತಮಾಷೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಅಮೆರಿಕನ ಮುಂದೆ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರವನ್ನು ಹೋಗ್ಲಾಡ್ಸ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರ ಹೋಗ್ಸೋದು ಅದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಯುವ ಜನತೆಗೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಇದೆ. ಇವತ್ತೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಯುವಕ ತುಂಬಾ ಆದರ್ಶಪ್ರಿಯ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವನು ತುಂಬಾ ಆದರ್ಶವಾದಿ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾನೆ ಲೈಫ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವನು ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ಗೆ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು, ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೊಡ್ತಾನ ಅವನು. ಸೊ ಹೊರಡುವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಅವನಿಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಲಿಸಮ್ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ, ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಆಗ್ಲೇ. ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಅವನು ಅವ್ರ ತರನೇ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಹೋದವನು ಅವನು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅವನು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಅವನಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದಾಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ DK ರವಿ, ಸೊ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಈ ಡೈಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ವೆರಿ ಮಿಸ್ಟೀರಿಯಸ್ ಸರ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ಟಾನ್ಸಸ್. ಸೊ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಅಂತ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಾದಾಗ ಅವರ ಯೌವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಆ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರ ಒಂದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ 99% ಆಫ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್. ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಓಕೆ. ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅದರ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅದರ್ ನೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮದು ಇವತ್ತು ತುಂಬಾ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ನೋಡಿ, ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಪೇಪರ್ ಓದ್ತಾಗ ನಂಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇಜಾರಾಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಜನ ತುಂಬಾ ನಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹೆಂಗ್ ನಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಫುಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಜನ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಪೇಪರ್ ಓದೋ ತುಂಬಾ ಬೇಜಾರಾಯ್ತು ನನಗೆ. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಖರೀದಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಎಕ್ವಿಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟೆಂಡರಿಂಗ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಅವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಅಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ಎಲಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದರ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ 2000 crore ಅವ್ಯವಹಾರ ನಡೆದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ವಿರೋಧ ಪಕ್ಷರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬಿಂಗ್. ಈ ತರ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಹೋಗಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಇದು ಹೋಗಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಮೈ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಕೇಳಿ ಅವಿನಾಶ್ ಅವರು, ಮುಂದಿನ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿ.
Sir, the question is in English. Create just and equitable society as well as achieving survival of the weakest. Reflection is a reflection of process of national building.
Yes.
It is distinguishing like Gen X versus Gen Y. Is it? ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
The person can elaborate a little. What does it mean actually?
Or you can go to the next question, sir. So, yes. The question in Kannada. ಯುವಕರು ದೇಶದ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯನ್ನು ಸಾಧಿಸುವುದು ಹೇಗೆ? ಯುವಕರು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಲು ಇರುವಂತಹ ಸದಾವಕಾಶಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿ. ಇದು ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದೀರಾ?
ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸಸ್ವಿಸವಾಗಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅದನ್ನ. ಬೇರೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಹೋಗಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಪುನಃ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ. Come out with something new.
Inclusive culture, promotion of parity and sensitiveness enables the unity, which is essential for nation development. Is it inclusive culture?
Both is essential. Inclusive culture, you have to include all the cultures. Okay, so my personal opinion is culture is an identity of a person. Okay, so there is no question of compromising that culture for sake of accommodating other cultures. So your language, your culture, you have to safeguard. Okay, at the same time, that doesn't mean your culture, your language is going to serve at the cost of other culture, other languages. No, not at all. So my idea is live and let live. Okay, respect other cultures, accommodate other cultures. Okay, that is what is known as inclusiveness. So inclusiveness can be practiced this way. So as I said earlier, you speak a language at home. Your language is Kodwa, your language is Konkani, your language is Bari. Speak that. Okay, when you come out, you respect the state language. The state language, you respect it. National language, you respect it. Okay, so there's no question of antagonizing other culture, other religions, other languages to safeguard your culture, your language, nothing like that. You can live and let live. That's what is happening in your country. But sometimes some forces take advantage of that, because there's something called vote bank politics. We should not fall prey to it. And youngsters must be very, very alert on that. Next one.
In what and how youth shall be utilized as supportive services to police and health agencies?
Okay, the police already said, the police department has asked for some youngsters to chip in as a police wardens. You can go do it. That is one way of what is assisting the police. Health, I am more doubts, because now we are in very bad times. We are told to stay home, because if you go out and if you don't maintain social distancing, there is going to be a problem. So if you are really interested in doing something, some help and all that, you can do it in your own way. Do it your own way. How to do it your own way? If somebody is not keeping well, okay, in the next door, if they're not getting any medical attention and all that, you can take the initiative. You can inform the health officers regarding that, or you can be of some personal help. You can go get them some medicine. You can go get a doctor. You can do it in that personal way. So now at this particular point of time, unless you are well versed with all this medical process and all that, you going out and doing some work, I think it is risky. You can do it in a very small way, okay, near your home, okay. And if nothing is possible, stay back home. Wear a mask. Don't add fuel to fire. Don't make the problem big. If you can do that, that's the greatest service you are doing for the nation. Okay, next one.
So this is more related to COVID, I think so. No, it is. So if Corona spreads like this much, I mean, they are speaking about the number. So how can we grow our nation?
So
that
this is not only a problem. Okay, this is not only a problem with our nation. This is a problem of the entire world. The problem of the entire world. Okay, and we are not responsible for this. We are not responsible. This it's a pandemic. It came from nowhere. The countries are blaming China for this. So they're telling they have created this artificial virus and sent across the world for some ulterior motive. Maybe true. Okay, so this pandemic, we did not create it. We are nowhere responsible for that. Okay, many people have died. Many economic activities have come to a standstill. The country has gone backward. Okay, we have to face that. So now you may be told to make some sacrifices. We must be willing to make some sacrifices. We may have to face some hardship in the future. We must be ready for that, because it has happened. You have to survive now. So that is the way I would like to respond for this question. Some very tough measures are going to be announced by the government in the days to come. You have to accept that. Otherwise, it's very difficult for us to come out of the problem, because this is a very, very complicated problem. Okay, there are a lot of responsibility there in the government. Okay, now private hospitals are not cooperating. Okay, so a lot of debate and discussion and a lot of opinions are expressed in favor of the private hospitals or private service providers. Where are they now? Now it's only the government is facing the problem. So I have to extend our support to the government and to stand by the government and allow the government to see that something happens to the people. They are very difficult times. So every policymaker, every expert, okay, is not in the position to offer any solution to the problem now. Where the problem itself is difficult. The problem itself is challenging. Okay, next one.
So I think even this is answered. Do you think youths get equal opportunities in every field of nation building? So, so that's the question.
So
do they get equal opportunities?
They are getting. You take, for example, the government recruitment. The government recruitment is meant for all. Government recruitment is meant for all. They follow reservation because you have to help the people from the marginalized communities. You have to help them. The government has a reservation chart, they follow it. Okay, so today what has happened is the number of candidates outnumber the number of posts in the government. What is the government doing? The government gives the opportunity to the most meritorious. They have fixed the marks. So whoever succeeds in securing that many marks, according to the category wise, they are recruited to the government. Okay, I am telling for 1,500 posts in the central government, that is, I am telling the Group A and Group B civil services, about 5 to 7 lakh candidates appear for the exam. All can't be accommodated. So ultimately, the best 1,500 get selected. But that doesn't mean others are useless. That doesn't mean others have no opportunity. Okay, there are so many other opportunities for you. You can get into the government in a different way. It need not be the IAS, IPS. There are other options for you. Okay, so you may not get a very top position in the government. Okay, don't matter. That's why I said you must have dignity of labor. If you get a small job in the government, join. ಇವಾಗ ನಾವೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಕ್ಲಾರ್ಕ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತು, ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತು, ನಾನು ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂತಿದ್ದೆ, ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಬೇಜಾರು ಪಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಅನೇಕ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಳು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋರು IPS ಮಾಡಿ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಅಧಿಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಒಬ್ರು ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿ ಅವರು ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಹೇಳೋದು 1970s ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವರು ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು BA ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು BPEd ಮಾಡಿ MPEd ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರು ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿ ರಿಟೈರ್ಡ್ ಆದವರು. ರಿಟೈರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ 2 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯ್ತು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದೇ ತರ ನಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಅವರು, ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳೋದು ಬೇಡ ನಾನು, ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ರಿಟೈರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ DG and IG ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್. ಈ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಕೆರಿಯರ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಟೆಲಿಫೋನ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್. ಬೆಳ್ಳಾರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾರ್ತ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಲಿಫೋನ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಈ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್. He was able to reach the highest rank in the state police hierarchy. Possible. ಅದರಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೆಲಸನೇ ಸಿಗ್ಬೇಕು ಒಂದೇ ಸತಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಸಪಾಯಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸಿವಿಯರ್, ವೆರಿ ಹೈ. So don't get disappointed. Still you can contribute for the nation by holding a small position in the government. ಮಾಡೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಾನು ಅದೇ ಹೇಳೋದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಟ್ರು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ಶಿಸ್ತಿನಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅದು ನಡೀತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ನಮ್ಮ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಸ ಗುಡ್ಸಕ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಕಸನ ಗುಡ್ಸಲ್ಲ ಇವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವೀಪರ್ ಅವರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನೋಡಿ ನೀವು ಕಸ ಗುಡ್ಸಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೈಯರ್ ಅಥಾರಿಟೀಸ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಗುಡ್ಸಾರ ಅವರು. ಹಂಗಾಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಟ್ರು, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಸಣ್ಣ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಕೊಟ್ರು, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಟ್ರು, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಕೊಟ್ರು, ಅದನ್ನ ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆಯಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಶಿಸ್ತಿನಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೀಕ್ರೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಜಪಾನ್. ಈ ಜಪಾನ್, ಜರ್ಮನಿ ಅಂತ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಅವ್ರ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆ ತರ ಇದೆ, ಶಿಸ್ತು ಆ ತರ ಇದೆ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ, ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆ ತರ ಇದೆ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಸಣ್ಣ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಗಳಾದ್ರೂ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ನಾವು. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್.
Today's leaders using youngsters. So this is about leaders who lead the youngsters for the development in backstep to boil their seeds and portraying that they were giving preference to youths, but they were not giving up to the mark. Is it right?
Okay, right. It's right. My concluding remarks is that's what I said. So today what is happening is youth power is used by a leader or by a person in the society, and this person reaps benefit out of that youth power. He gets a position, he gets power, and for that somebody has worked, somebody has toiled hard for that. Okay, he fails to even acknowledge that. He doesn't want to mention that, but these people have sacrificed for that. Because of the sacrifice of these people, he is in power. He might have given them some money or something like that, he may be ignoring them. That should not happen. Okay, when a group of youngsters have worked for somebody, they must be rewarded adequately for all the hard work they do. That's why I acknowledge the name of Neeraj Savio. Got the point? So Neeraj Savio did a marvelous work. He's in Mumbai actually. From Mumbai, he was able to coordinate all these webinars. Got the point? So that's why I just told my department, we will give them recognition. So in the invitation, if you've seen our webinar invitation, I have made a mention about the technical team. I put the names of all the 4 students. Credit should go to them. But that is not happening. So my advice to all of you is, don't be a pawn in the hands of these so-called leaders. Okay? See that you're not abused, so that you're not misused. You must ask your due. You must ask for the share which actually belongs to you. If you keep quiet and if you shut your mouth, all these things will continue. So there, our youths are failing. Their youths are failing. If the youths can assert, there is no power above youth's power. Next one.
The next question, sir. So if youth wants to get into politics presently, should we need education and knowledge of a country or money? So they're asking the importance of money and knowledge.
See, with the money, power, you can win election. Okay, let me be practical. So education, knowledge, okay, is not that very important as far as the present politics is concerned. So that is the reason we see problems all around. So money power is a very important power. So I may just lecture for you about youth power, nation building and all that. If I contest elections, I may not even get 100 votes. If I contest elections based on my knowledge power or based on my values and all that. Because politics is a different ballgame, especially in India. So unless and until you have money power, unless and until you have the caste power, winning election is not easy as far as India is concerned. So money power is there. You can't help it. So that's the reason why people with money are able to win the election. That we come to know during time of elections. They file their affidavit. So each one of them are worth about 100, 200, 1,000 crores. So what will be I in front of them? And knowledge power will be nothing in front of that. So my suggestion is, we must fight all this. Not that easy. I may say fight it out, but not that easy. This advice is there from many years actually. Okay, even my teachers, my elders also told the same thing to me. I am also telling the same thing to you youngsters. But where to draw the line? That's the problem. That's the problem. So if you have good leaders who are very knowledgeable, well-read, okay, we can get good elected representatives, and they can make good laws. They can understand the problems of the people better. And if you have got yourself elected without spending any money, you have an obligation towards the people. But today there are no obligation towards the people. ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮೊಬ್ರು ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟರ್ ಗೆದ್ರು 5-6 ಕೋಟಿ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮನೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಈ ಕಡೆ ನೀರು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಬರೀತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕೇಳಕ್ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲರನ್ನ ಓಡಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ಯಾಕೆ ಓಡಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ರು? ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನೋಡಿ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಓಟ್ ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನನಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತೇ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ನಾಳೆನೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಮಾಡ್ದೇನೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೋ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಟು ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಮೀ, because you are not voted free of cost. You are not voted for charity. You have taken money from me and you voted. I got elected by that. And you have no right to ask me to do that or do this ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಇವಾಗ? ಈ ತರ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಇದೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಇರೋರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಓದಿರೋರು, ಕ್ವಾಲಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅವರು ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವಿನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಬ್ಲೀಕ್. Money power dominates. That's reality. You have to break this, but the question is how to break this. So this is going to continue. Next.
So I think there are 2 questions. I'll club it together and I'll be asking it. So okay. What is the role of youth in agriculture and industry sector?
Very good, very good. See, agriculture is having a tremendous opportunities for youngsters. ಈಗ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕೃಷಿ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬೆಲೆ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಹಳ್ಳಿ ರೈತರ ಮಕ್ಕಳೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹಳ್ಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನೀನು ರೈತ ಮಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅವಮಾನ. ಕೃಷಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅವಮಾನ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅದು ತಪ್ಪು. ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಐ ಬಿಲಾಂಗ್ ಟು ಕೂರ್ಗ್. ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಕಾಫಿ ಬೆಳೆಗಾರ ಊರಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ನೀವು ನಂಬೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ. ಈ ಒಂದು 5 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ನಾನು ಆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾಫಿ ಬೆಳೆಗಾರ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಕೃಷಿ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್. ಇವತ್ತು ಕೃಷಿಗೆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ತುಂಬಾ ಸವಲತ್ತುಗಳು ದೊರೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ತರದ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ತರದ ಬೆಂಬಲ ಬೆಲೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ತುಂಬಾ ತರದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳಿದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಲೋನ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಈಗ ಪಿಗ್ಗರಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿನ ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಪೌಲ್ಟ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿನ ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಕೃಷಿಗಾರಿಕೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನೀವು ಫುಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಬ್ರೈಟ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್. ನಾವು ಆಗಿಂದಾಗೆ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಕೆಲವೆಲ್ಲ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ 50 ಹಸು ಸಾಕೊಂಡು ಆರಾಮಾಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಹಳ್ಳಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದ ಅವನು ಒಂದ್ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ. ಈ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಬೇಡ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ವೇರ್ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹಸು ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಸೊ ದರ್ ಈಸ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್, ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತೇನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಬಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಜಾಬ್ಲೆಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಎಲ್ಲರ ಕೆಲಸ ತೆಗಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಇವಾಗ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮಂತವ್ರು ಏನೋ ದೇವ್ರ ದಯದಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ನಾವು ಪರ್ಮನೆಂಟ್ ಸಂಬಳ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಆನೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಂಬಳನ ಸಾಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಆತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಉದ್ಯಮಗಳು ಕೊಡಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ನಾವು ಕಂಡಿಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇವಾಗ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಟೆಲಿವಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದೆ, ಒಬ್ರು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್ ಅವರು ಪಾನಿಪುರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಂಡ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ರಾಂಗ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಸೆಡ್, ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ಡಿಗ್ನಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ನಮಗೆ ನೋ ರೈಟ್ಸ್. ನಾವ್ಯಾಕೆ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? ಅವ್ರು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಡ್ವೊಕೇಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ನಡೀತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಮುಚ್ಚಿದೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಜೀವನ ನಡಿಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ, ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಪಾನಿಪುರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವರು ಪಾನಿಪುರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ. ಇಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಸಪೋರ್ಟೆಡ್ ದಟ್. ಅದರಿಂದ ಈಗ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಬ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಟು ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಅದರ್ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ಸ್. ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಪ್ರಿಸ್ಟಿಜ್ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಇದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್ ಟು ಸರ್ವೈವ್. ಇದು ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಗ್ನಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಲೇಬರ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀನು ಏನ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇನ್ನ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ನೋಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನಮ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ನೋಡೋದು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ. ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರಬೇಕು, ಅವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್.
So this question, sir, I think this is also regarding money, so I think we can ignore it because we already answered.
Answered. Okay.
Money. Okay. So in today's world, that is also money. Okay. ಯುವಕರಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಕುಟುಂಬದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಕೆಲವು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಗಳನ್ನು ನೀಡುವುದರಿಂದ ಇದು ಉತ್ತಮ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಕಾರಿ ಆಗಬಹುದೇ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕುಟುಂಬದಲ್ಲಿ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ನೀಡುವುದು.
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಕುಟುಂಬದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಮೀನು ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಜಮೀನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೀ ಟೈಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ನೀವು ಅಸಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಒಂದು ಕೃಷಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ, ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆಲವು ಕಸುಬುಗಳು ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೇಯ್ಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಕೆಲವರು, ಇನ್ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಓದಿನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅದನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡಿನ ಬೆಲೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಎತ್ತಿ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡಿನ ಬೆಲೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವೇ ಸ್ವಂತ ದುಡಿದ್ರೆ ದುಡ್ಡಿನ ಬೆಲೆ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಸಂಸಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿನ ನೀವು ತಗೊಂಡು ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾಭ್ಯಾಸನ ಮುಂದುವರ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ತರ ನೀವು ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಕ್ತು, ಅದೃಷ್ಟದಿಂದ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಯು ವೆರಿ ನಾಲೆಜಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಳ್ಳಿನ ಮರೆಯಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಳ್ಳಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಕಸುಬು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಅದನ್ನ ಮುಂದುವರಿಸಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಣ್ಣ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನಿಮ್ ತಮ್ಮ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನಿಮ್ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಯಾರೋ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಮುಂದುವರ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಕೊಡೋಗಿದ್ರೆ ಕೊಡಿ, ಅವರು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದರಿಂದ. ಹಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ. ನಾನು ಅದೇ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ದು ಚಿಕ್ಕದೊಂದು ಜಮೀನು ಊರಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಂಧುಗಳು ಹೇಳೋದು, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕಾಫಿ ಬೆಳಿಬೋದು, ಕಾಫಿ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗ ಆಗೋದು, ಬೇರೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So then my and my brother, we took a responsibility, invested some money. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋರ್ಗು ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಕ್ದಂಗ ಆಯ್ತು. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೂ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಮಗೂ ಒಂದು ಸಮಾಧಾನ. ನಮ್ಮ ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಸ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪಿಂಗ್ ಅಸ್. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ರೂಟ್ಸ್. ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಏನಿದ್ರು ಅವ್ರ ರೂಟ್ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಆಯ್ತು ನಮಗೆ. ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್.
Yes, sir. So, okay. There are NSUI. Sir,
ಹಾ.
are you able to hear, sir? ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಸರ್?
ಹಾ.
Okay.
NS?
There are NSUI associations which are seeking for more power. How would
ಹಾ.
how would so how would
NSUI
you approach the public and the government?
not audible.
So, I'll repeat the question. Am I audible, sir?
ಹಾ.
There are
Now
NSU
audible. Now audible.
Yes, sir. There are NSUI associations which are seeking for more power. So how do we approach the public and government? This is more of student associations.
The confused question ಅದು. NSUI ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ that's a what is known as a student wing of a political party. Okay, National Students Union of India ಅಂತೇಳಿ NSUI ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ. ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಂಗ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎನ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬಹುದು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಈಗ ABVP ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಇದೆ, NSUI ಇದೆ, AFI ಇದೆ. These are all the student bodies. So the student bodies of political parties enable the students to get some kind of a political exposure and also gain some kind of a political experience. You can be a member of that. Active member ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಮತ್ತೆ if you are doing very well, you can also be given a major responsibility in the political party itself. ಈಗ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ನೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೂ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್. ಅವರು NSUI ಇಂದ ಅವರು ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವ್ ಹಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಎನ್ MLA. ಓಕೆ, ಇಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ MLA. ಶಿವಾಜಿನಗರ MLA ಇರೋದಲ್ಲ, ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ NSUI. ಅದರಿಂದ you will get a political training, political exposure if you enroll yourself as a member of these student wings of a political party, provided your interest in politics. But you are not going to get immediate results. You have to wait ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಪಾಲಿಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಅದನ್ನೇ ನೀವು ಮುಂದುವರ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಈಗ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪ ಅವರು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ RSS ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಸೌತ್ MP ಏನಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಫ್ರಮ್ RSS ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್. ಅವರ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಸೌತ್ MP ವಾಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ RSS at the age of 13. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದಾನೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಐಡಿಯಾಲಜಿ, ಪಕ್ಷ ಅದನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ ನೀವು. ಯಾವ ಪಕ್ಷ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾಲಜಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, so you can be active in some or the other political party youth wing and get yourself equipped for the future. Possible. So there also you can contribute for the nation building. ಈಗ ಶೋಭಾ ಕಾರಂದ್ರಾಜೆ ಅವರು RSS ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಅನಂತ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ RSS ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್, ಅಶೋಕ್ ಅವರು RSS ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್, ಎಲ್ಲ RSS ಇಂದ ಬಂದವರು. ನವೀನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಕಟೀಲ್ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ RSS ಇಂದ ಬಂದವರು. ಸೊ ABVP RSS ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಇಂದ ಬಂದವರು. ಇವತ್ತು ದೇ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಅದೇ ತರ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಚೂಸ್, ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಟು ಯು. Nobody will come in the way. But only thing is follow the law. ಕಾನೂನಿಗೆ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ನೀವು ಗೌರವ ಕೊಡಿ, ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ನೇಷನ್.
So, sir, I think there is another question, but since we have time constraint, we need to stop here. So, thank you for being patient, sir,
Okay,
and answering all the questions.
okay.
So, participants, now after the vote of thanks, I'll be pasting the link of feedback form in the chat box. You have to fill the feedback form for the e-certificate. So now I request Uday to thank the gathering. Uday? Uday, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. ಕೇಳಿಸಿದೆ ಅವಿನಾಶ್? ಕೇಳಿಸಿದ್ಯಾ?
ಮಾತಾಡು.
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತದೆ, ಮಾತಾಡಿ.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Uday Kiran, the director and
Uday?
first I thank the very much, sir.
Welcome.
I thank Yuvaka Vibalaga who have worked hard to make this webinar to success. Thank you so much, friends. It's my utmost duty to thank all the participants for being such lovely attendance. Thank you so much, friends. Especially thanks to Krishna and Aditya for giving Spurti the idea of conducting the webinar. Thank you so much, Krishna and Aditya. I once again thank you each and everyone for their patience and kindness. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vanadal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Uday. So I shall be pasting the link now. Thank you. Thank you very much. I shall be pasting the link now.
Okay.
So I think participants can fill this form and then leave the meeting. It hardly takes 2 minutes. Core committee members idira? Core committee members, you can unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself and you can speak. Core committee members.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much. Being it from Mansa, Ramya, Chandrona, Ranjit, Uday. Ranjit, thank you very much. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಾನಸ, ಉದಯ್, ಚಂದ್ರು ಅಣ್ಣ, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಾನು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಈಗ ಮಾತಾಡಿದೆ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹತ್ರ, ತುಂಬಾ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಅರೌಂಡ್ 250 participants.
But that happens ಅಲ್ವಾ? That happens.
Participants around 80 ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಯೂಶಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು
ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್
ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ
ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ದೇವರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಎವ್ರಿವನ್. ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳೋದಿದ್ಯಾ ಮಾನ್ಸ?
Yeah, thank you so much for yourself as well.
ಉದಯ್
ಹಾ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಅವಿನಾಶ್ ಹೇಳಿ. ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡೋ. ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದಾರ ಕಣೋ.
ಅದು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇವತ್ತು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ನಂಗೆ ಮೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಹೇಳಿರು ವಿತಿನ್ 3 days ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿರಷ್ಟೇ.
That's fine. We can give them by tomorrow only.
ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ.
ಅದೇ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡೇ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ.
ಸರಿ, ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ನ ಲೀವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾ?
ಲೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಯಾ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸೋ ಮಚ್. ಬಾಯ್ ಎವ್ರಿವನ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಅನಂತ. ಬಾಯ್.
ಬಾಯ್
ಅವಿನಾಶ್
ಹೇಳುವುದೇ
ಇರೋ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ. ನೀನ್ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಡ, ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ ಇರ್ಲಿ. ಇನ್ನು ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇನ್ನು 35 ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಲೆಟ್ ದೆಮ್ ಫಿಲ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್.
ಓಕೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ತುಂಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದು ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಬಟನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
Four committee members need not fill the form. Other participants can. Archana, you can fill the form. Archana, you can fill the form, submit ಮಾಡಿ. ಇನ್ನ 2-3 ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಮೇಲ್ ಕಳ್ಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. You can unmute and you can speak, no problem. ರಂಜಿತ್, ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ರಂಜಿತ್, ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡು ಲಿಂಕ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ.
ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಕಣೋ,
ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ?
ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ.
ನೀನು ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡುವುದೇ?
ನಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ದೆ,
ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ? ಓಕೆ.
ಹೌದೌದು, ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಅರ್ಚನಾ ಅವರ, ನೀವೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಬೆಟರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿ.
I think participants can unmute themselves. They can speak. Chat.
Give a response.
Yes.
Mini.
Hi everyone.
ಅವಿನಾಶ್ ಅವಿನಾಶ್
ಹೇಳುವುದೈ ಹೇಳುವುದೈ
ಬಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್?
ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ.
ಕೀರ್ತಿ ಅದಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಆ, 50 ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. 50 ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಸ್.
50
ಹಾ
50ನಾ?
50.
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವೋ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೇನೆ ನಾ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಬರೋದು.
ಇನ್ನು ಒಂದ್ 10 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ, ಹತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ 5-6 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ನ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು.
ಹೌದೌದು, ಅಷ್ಟೊಳಗಡೆ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಕಳಿಸಿ.
ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಕಾಣಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ. ಕೀರ್ತಿ ಅವರೇ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ನ. ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡಿ.
ಅದು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ 2 ಅವರ್ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇನ್ನು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್. ರಂಜಿತ್, ಅದ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೇನೋ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ನ? ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಟೈಮ್ ನ, ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನ? ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ.
ಅವಿನಾಶ್
ಹೇಳುವುದೈ?
ಇದ್ಯಾರೋ ಕೀರ್ತಿ ಯಾರ್ದೋ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲಂತೆ ನೋಡೋ.
ಕೀರ್ತಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿ. ಕೀರ್ತಿ ಆಗತ್ತೆ.
ಹೌದೌದು, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ನೀವು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಲಿಂಕ್ ನ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು 5 minutes ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ಲಿ ಕಾಪಿ ದ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್. Kindly copy the link of the feedback form. Hello.
Hello.
Participants, kindly copy the link of the feedback form. I think we're gonna end the meeting now. Syed, Divyashri, Mahima, Chetan, Vinay. ರಂಜಿತ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ಯಾ?
ರಂಜಿತ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂದಿದೆ ಈಗ? ರಂಜಿತ್ ಅವಿನಾಶ್
ಹೇಳುವುದೇ?
ಇನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಟೈಮು?
ಇನ್ನು ಟೈಮ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 3-4 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಉದಯ್, ನಾನು 4:45 ವರೆಗೂ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ.
ಓಕೆ
ಅದು ಏನು ಇನ್ನು
46 ಆಯ್ತು.
ಅದೇ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಇವ್ರು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾತಾಡಬಹುದು. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇನ್ ಫಿಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್, ಕೈಂಡ್ಲಿ.
ಉದಯಣ್ಣ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ?
ಕೇಳಿಸಿದೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಂದಿದೆ ರಂಜಿತ್?
50 ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಇದು ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿದೊಂದು ಜಿಮೇಲ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ,
ಹೌದೌದೌದು.
ಯಾರು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು?
ಎಲ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಇದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೀವಿ ನಾವು.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಪಾಸ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ನಾವ್ ಎಲ್ರು
ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಮೇಲ್ ಕಳ್ಸಿದೀನಿ ನೋಡು, ಚೆಕ್
ಈಗ
ಮಾಡು.
ಕಳ್ಸಿದ್ಯಾ?
ಒಂದ್ ಕಳ್ಸಿದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಇವಾಗ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಕಳ್ಸಿದೀನಿ. ಬಂದಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳು.
ಓಕೆ, ಇರು ಬೈ. ಅವಿನಾಶ್ ನೀನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡು.